Hey everyone, this is Tinga welcoming you to yet another Marvel Strike Force Saturday Special. Today's Saturday Special is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to take you through a Cosmic Crucible wave of attacks. I might do this a little bit more often, I haven't decided yet for Saturday Specials, making Cosmic Crucible a little bit more prolific on the channel now that it's out. But I do want to talk about a couple things right now with this one. And I'm going to start with Cosmic Catastrophe, which is the 5th node. This blows my mind. I wasn't sure exactly if I was reading it wrong or not, but if you look here, this room's debuffs are, among other things, on all characters' turns, reduce speed bar by 50% for this character's cosmic allies. And then you take a look at their defense and it's Black Order. Now, I'm not ridiculing anybody because this is a very new game mode. But if I understand all characters correctly, and we can take it as an absolute statement, that means it applies to both the defending team as well as the attacking team. And if that's the case, that means Black Order is going to slow itself down every time one of those turns takes a turn. So I thought I would test this because maybe I was crazy. And based off of the outcome of this match, I think that's exactly what happens here. Because I went with a huge punch-up of Secret Avengers, Falcon, and Zemo, which in any other game mode can't beat this Black Order team, especially with the Black Order getting the extra buffs of health and damage. And yet, here I go, and it works out. Now, to be fair, before I started actually doing this channel, I was in the Black Order arena meta, and I could use Zemo and Falcon were two of my characters to take this on. Black Bolt, Sinister, and Emma were my other three, and I could beat and punch up against Black Order with that. But that was because Sinister could clone Cull Obsidian and let Cull take all of the damage. I could use Emma to slow down the entire team of Black Order the whole time they're playing, and I could use Falcon to gain a ton of speed so that I could get Black Bolt around twice before Ebony Maw got his ultimate off or Thanos got his ultimate off. And then the added benefit was Emma would blind Ebony Maw, so even if Ebony Maw was able to get off his ultimate, if he was blinded, that doesn't actually steal health. In this case, the room is actually handicapping this defense. And then I've got speed on speed with Falcon and Captain Sam being able to do all of the extra speed bar. Plus I've got summons, and that just kind of beats the heck out of this team. But be aware, this I originally thought maybe I was reading it wrong, but no, I think I understand it properly. All characters means all characters. It doesn't just mean defense, it means defense and offense both. So keep an eye on that. This kind of thing could really screw up your Cosmic Crucible defense, because if this was only against my tunes and did not apply to Black Order, I would expect Black Order would roll right over me here. So Battle Axe, if you happen to see this video, you may want to consider moving Black Order to a different node. This node is not helping you here at all. Alright, now we're on to the next node, which is Slow Down, and so now I've got to face off against New Warriors, Doom, and Captain Sam, and I'm narrating this after I did the recording, so you see my mouse moving around because I want to be cool and narrate in real time, and I'm really not good at that. But what I really am thinking about here is Kestrel is the answer to Doom, so if I can get Doom to trigger his ult, while Kestrel still has charged, now Doom is out of the equation. So then I really have to only focus on getting around New Warriors and Captain Sam. And unfortunately, my first go-around, I didn't do a very good job of the thought process on how to actually wipe out this team. I did settle on X-Factor and Kestrel, and ultimately, it would prove to be the correct team, it was just the wrong order, so I do fail this attack. This is one of the things that I totally broke my own rule here. It was one of the dumbest things. I was so focused on Doom and Kestrel and, how am I going to handle that, because Doom is huge. that I overlooked the fact that I was bringing in a summoner against Deathpool. And that's a cardinal sin on this channel. You just don't do that, because if Multiple Man puts out all of his summons and somebody manages to knock all of them out, like, oh, I don't know, Captain Sam's ult, suddenly Deathpool's gonna rip through this team, and she does. So I cancel out that battle. So now I'm frazzled, and so I'm trying to figure out, what do I do? Do I want to go back for this node? Do I want to go for a different node? And so I kind of scroll around, take a look. And what I do end up seeing here is the node with Heroes for Hire, and it's called Defense Reversal, which if you have defense up or you have evade, you know, it'll do some flips and make your life, you know, uncomfortable for that attack. And one thing I did do with my last Cosmic Crucible that I didn't film was take on a Heroes for Hire with a non-Heroes for Hire war counter team. And it went very, very poorly. So I didn't want to waste a good team here, but also one of the things that Cosmic Crucible is all about is being efficient and destroying a team on your first attack if possible. And ultimately I decided last second to go with Infinity Watch, and the reason I did that is because there is evade, there is defense up that can come right out of the spawn for Infinity Watch, and even though there is a rule on this room that some of that will get flipped or stripped or whatever the rule is, I took Infinity Watch because Infinity Watch has Safeguard on spawn. And so as it turns out, Safeguard does defeat the room rule. And so then it's just a matter of autoing this because there's no charges, so Infinity Watch will clean it up pretty quick. So now I'm kind of angry. I know that my theory crafting is pretty solid for war, and I know if I decide to use the war rules to my advantage in Cosmic Crucible, I can pretty much ignore the stage rules, or the room rules, for the most part. And so I just decided, forget it. I know I'm right. I'm going to use X Factor and Kestrel, and this time, instead of focusing on Doom, I am going to wipe out Deathpool. Focus on her, because as soon as she's gone, then Multiple Man is suddenly very, very relevant, and it makes the rest of my attack so much stronger, because I don't have to worry about Deathpool taking extra hits against my team when a dupe gets cleaned out. So Still breaking the cardinal rule, however, decided to change my focus to Deathpool and clean her out first. And as it turns out, Kestrel's ult wiped her out because of the size difference there. So that worked out very well, and as you can see, Doom, he ults, and then he does not bring 2 Doombots onto the board, and so I don't even know if he triggered his special. I couldn't tell. But if he did, you know, a special with Doom that doesn't have bots is pretty weak sauce. And the X Factor team and my Kestrel clean this up relatively easy. So now we're on to the 6th stage, and it's a new Marauders team that has Madeline Pryor. The extra help there for that room is no speed bar changes for any characters take effect, so I don't really have to worry about them speeding up. I don't need to worry about Emma's doing any slows, it doesn't seem. I'm not sure if speed up and slows are actually affected by the rule. I can't tell. Or if it's more of like Falcon's special doesn't do anything with speed bar. I'm not sure exactly what that means here, but I still had Weapon X, and I figured Weapon X can take on this team pretty easily. I would use Eternals, but Eternals is on my defense. So I do have to be a little bit careful when I'm mixing and matching these teams sometimes. And that was one of the considerations here, but I figured Weapon X could take it out, knowing full well that Sinister was going to clone somebody. And if he cloned Omega, I might be in a real world of hurt here. But on War Defense, he clones the highest damage tune, which for me is not Omega Red. And in this case, he ends up getting Lady Deathstrike, which really means nothing to me. So, not a whole big deal, but that's how this ended up turning out. And by the end, I was able to put it on auto, which was very fortunate. So now we're down to the last 2 rooms, which are actually rooms 1 and 2. Neither of their defensive advantages are anything more than a health and damage boost to the defensive teams, and so I can treat this like a war attack with, defensive rooms up and just punch down dramatically. I wasn't very sure about the mechanics of Young Avengers outside of war. Haven't seen them, haven't used them, don't know their kits very well because I haven't built mine up. I do know that in war, Kate Bishop will have 5 charges, and every time a charge is used, she generates ability energy for all the Young Avengers. So I wanted to bring Silver Surfer in here for the charge strip, and as it turns out, that wasn't even necessary, because that must be just a poor mechanic and I wasn't aware of it. So I took the rest of my Axemen team in there with Silver Surfer taking the place of Iceman. I did lose the speed control that Iceman has there, and I did lose his 1 revive as well, but Silver Surfer more than makes up for that. And the big thing here was actually trying to get a disrupted on Miss Marvel so that her auto taunts would go away, make sure that I could leverage some sort of control on Captain Marvel, although Captain Marvel is not particularly powerful here, especially against the Axemen team. She just doesn't bring it. And then target number 1 is Squirrel Girl. Because she can do cleansing, she can do healing, she can make this a sustained fight, which I really don't want to get into. So Squirrel Girl, take her out, and then the rest is kind of pick and choose based off of what kind of buffs and debuffs are going around. America Chavez, especially at these power levels, neither America Chavez nor Kate Bishop are really any concern damage-wise, so really went pretty easily. And last and certainly not least, a 240k Darkhold team. Now, Darkhold is nothing to scoff at. I do not have my Darkhold team anywhere near ready. I do have Morgan Le Fay up to gear tier 14, however, because that was worthwhile to me. I'm very much thinking of putting her in my Dark Dimension 5 run. But outside of the fact that this team is just a bunch of 40 plus K sort of squishy tunes, I didn't really have a lot left in the tank to take them on that would have been a true counter, because my Darkhold team is not ready for that. But I did have a 600 plus K Black Order, and I figured a 2.5 times collection power punchdown should fit the bill, especially since Doctor Strange is still kind of squishy even in the Heartless form, and Wong is a great tank, but he's not very big. Morgan Le Fay does exercise a lot of control, especially turn meter wise. She has some decent focus and she can land some effects on even a Black Order of this size. Scarlet Witch hasn't really gone to the side of amazing with her tweaks. She was never very good, she was very squishy. In this team, she does kind of fill a role, but she's not that powerful, so it was just about picking a decent punch-down team that I had left and kind of hoping for the best, and it worked out pretty well. So that's my Cosmic Crucible. I did have one failed attack. The best way to score points in Cosmic Crucible is to not have any failed attacks. One note, if you haven't done this, if you do go in and damage a node, but you fail the attack, let's say you take out 2 tunes and you lose your entire team. When you go for the second attack on that node, the 2 tunes that you took out will be gone. So it does save your progress, especially helpful for people who might need all 3 taps to clear 1 node out. That does work. The sack team idea does work here, although you're penalized in the scoring for using a sack team. So keep those things in mind and enjoy Crucible. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.